Hey everyone, Once Bitten here. So this is Game 4 of the Southern Assault GT in Charlotte, North Carolina, 2012. It's a median engagement scenario. Let's see, you can get 500 victory points if you never use more than 4 power dice. So as long as you keep your castings below 5, the whole game long you can get 500 victory points. So I feel very, very fortunate that if I have to face a Slann army, that this is the scenario I get I get for it, because either it's going to really tone him down, or if he goes full bore, I can tone myself down and get an extra 500 victory points, which may help. Yeah, other than that, it's we're still on table two. It's fun. I don't know if you noticed this, but every game in this tournament, you see the same terrain game after game. I'm playing the whole tournament on, 3 of the 4 games on table two. So let's see. He had to deploy first. So he has pterodons, which have vanguarded up, and chameleon skinks, which of course were not there when I deployed. He's got a skink priest hiding there in the ruins, and to the right of that, those units are not actually deployed yet. He's got a large, 3 croc scores with a bunch of skinks, and then a large source unit that did not get on the table as per meeting engagement rules. Then from right to left, he's got an ancient steg. He's got a scarvet with those items. Basically, he hits 5 attacks because of the maiming shield, and his I think that's -3 to your armor save when all's said and done. So he is a nice counter to knights. There's the temple guard with the slan. He has the items you can see. He's got a couple salamanders and then some more chameleon skinks. So this is what I have facing him. Left to right, ignites the realm with paladin, men at arms with the damsel, and she there. That's the unit that'll have the ward save. Uh, Knights of the Realm with my BSB and my Prophetess, Men at Arms, Fast Cav behind him, Knights Errant on the far right with my General, and then there's some bowmen you can barely see in this picture. So, in all honesty, I really don't know what I'm going to do here. Um, I knew that he had 2 units that didn't come on the board that weren't going to be able to deploy. So I wanted it so that if they did come on the left, I was going to be able to charge them. Um, and otherwise, if they came on to the right, I would be just fine with that. Really, what I'd like to do is get this men-at-arms unit with the damsel into combat with his temple guard and turn her into a mountain chimera. And other than that, I really don't know what I'm doing this game. I would like my general to take care of his ancient stegodon, so I don't have to worry about that thing. So we go to Lizardmen turn one. You can see the 2 units on the right-hand side came on the board and walked up a little bit. Otherwise, his temple guard really stayed where they were, and he moved forward with the ancient steg, with the salamanders. Brought his pterodons up, of course. He's using his chameleon skinks to shoot at my knights errant and then to block them so they just can't charge the ancient steg. Brought his scarvet up with the impassable terrain guarding his flank, and otherwise inviting me to charge him. And over here he's going to get some nice juicy shooting with the salamanders, and he's blocking my other Knight of the Realm unit with the other chameleon skinks. I don't know what I would have done in his stead, but the chameleon skinks blocking my knights don't really it doesn't bother me too much. I can actually just get them off the table and not be too much worse off than I would be otherwise. But these guys open up and kill 2 knights errant. I couldn't believe it. So that wasn't good. And then between salamanders and then dwellers below, this unit really got taken to town. So, it's funny. Men at arms can be awesome, but without knights supporting them, they're really not very good. So when my knight units get taken down right off the bat, it's very discouraging because he's like, I don't know what to do. I mean, what do I have on the table that's going to handle his temple guard or his other units for that matter? So we go to Bretonnia turn one. I take both my knights that are near chameleon skinks and just go ahead and charge them. Take my men-at-arms into a scarvet and my other men-at-arms into a salamanders. Happy enough with all that. I had a trebuchet that wasn't able to deploy, so it came on my far left flank, and my peg knights came on over here, as you can see them. So there's that. The only thing I can hope for here is that his guy just whiffs his attacks and I can beat him through combat res. I would love for my men-at-arms to be able to kill the salamander unit and overrun. I think I would be in the front of that unit. It'd be beautiful as in their flank, but I don't think that's the case. But yeah. And this is the far left. I'm not worried about killing them. And there's my trebuchet. Comes on. Of course, it can't shoot first turn, which, you know, unfortunate. Bowmen are able to take a single wound off these guys. Yeah, I have no way of dealing with them, and they're pretty brutal. I mean, they could, I'm kind of worried about them going after my trebuchet, but if they do, at least they're not going to do much else the rest of the game. Of course, he could turn around and drop rocks on my peg knights' heads, and then that could be bad as well. So after combat here, my knights errant take care of the chameleon skinks. I did lose another knight, by the way, to the stand and shoot of the chameleon skinks. Over here, the men-at-arms could do nothing against the Scarvet. The other men-at-arms, even with the +1 strength and toughness buff, which if you see that token to the right of that unit, they still could not handle the salamanders. Other knight unit made short work of the chameleon skinks, just killed them, and reformed, as you can see. So we'll go to Lizardman turn 2. His pterodons just ignore my trebuchet and turn around and go pick on my peg knights. Temple Guard decides to come into the men-at-arms unit. I think I'm, in all honesty, at this point in the game, I think I am in a world of hurt. The men-at-arms, there's no way they're going to stand up to that. They're going to overrun and be right in the middle of my knight units that are already depleted. It's not going to be pretty. There are these guys. Yeah, they dropped rocks on the head of my peg knights. Did 2 wounds, killed one of them, and then I failed my panic test and ran away from them. Luckily, I ran pretty far, but still. And when he charged in, his ancient steg tried to get into the flank of that men-at-arms unit, and didn't work. So I'm not sure I really care about that. If he'd gotten in there when they broke him, he might have gone into my general's unit, or he might, because of the angle, have got out of my general's charge arc. So either way, I actually kind of like how it's set up now, because on my turn, my general can charge that steg, as long as the Temple Guard doesn't mess with me, which they shouldn't because of the angle. And if I beat the steg, I can overrun and pop right through those 2 units, so not have to worry about a counter charge. So I'm okay with that. And then I put this picture in here just to show all the buffs that happened during the magic phase. Basically, he cast Throne of Vines with 2 dice, and I used 3 dice to dispel it. He didn't roll that well with it, and I rolled something like a 1, and a 2. So then I not only did Throne of Vines go through, I had, my level 4 was no longer able to dispel. So basically, he got 4 spells off. This Temple Guard, it has regen, has toughness buffs. It's just bad to the bone. So yeah, they easily beat the Men-at-Arms. Men-at-Arms got away at least. They kind of bounced through my units, and his Scarvet ran into my Battle Standard Bearers unit, and the Temple Guard were kind of just blocked up. So I felt that didn't go nearly as badly as it could have. I still have the Men-at-Arms. They'll either rally or not. It'd be tough for them to get off the table, so I'll probably keep those points. I don't know how my BSB's unit's going to do against that Scarvet. That thing has 5 attacks, -3 to your armor save. I've got a champion that can absorb 1 round, and then I've got to have to take it with my Battle Standard Bearer, and that's just going to be rough. I've got static combat res 2, and he's got to charge this 1 turn. So the only thing I can ever hope for is to beat him through static combat res. If you look at the top, the good thing that happened is the Men-at-Arms, whereas last turn they did nothing against the Salamanders, this turn they killed them just outright. It was fantastic. So what I did, I would have reformed and charged the Temple Guard in the flank, except he had all those buffs up. I really didn't think I was ever going to do anything. And then, if I put her in a corner and then turned her into a Mountain Chimera, she'd be out of combat, so I couldn't even do that. So what I did is I reformed them so that they're in the flank of the Saurus unit, which took some finagling to do that. But so at least now I can charge the Saurus. I'll be in their flank and hopefully beat them through static combat res. So we go to Bretonnia in turn 2. The peasants rally. My general charges his ancient Stegodon, and then when I charged his Saurus warriors, he fled, bounced through a skink priest, and I was out of range. I couldn't even redirect this skink priest. So my men-at-arms are just kind of stuck there, which kind of means my Knight of the Realm unit in the top left is kind of stuck back there in no man's land. The good news is, if I can get heroic killing blow on that ancient Stegodon and overrun and roll far enough, I can catch the Saurus unit and just get all those points. So very, very hopeful about that. My Peg Knights decide not to rally even though they need a 9. So the good news is the Pterodons are far enough away they cannot declare a charge against them. But yeah, that's the only good news. Otherwise, yeah, it looks like this. And yeah, over here, what else is there to see? I don't know what I was thinking when I rallied the men-at-arms and positioned them the way I did. I wonder if I was thinking that that my BSB's unit was going to lose and be chased off, and I wanted them to be able to countercharge. Um, no, no, I was being sneaky. Basically, I reformed him so the Temple Guard are in my front, and he can't make it because he can't wheel around his Scarvet and touch my front. So that's what I was doing there. I just didn't want his Temple Guard charging him. So this was weird. So I got Heroic Killing Blow from the Steg. Yay me. The Kroxgor unit, even with Cold Blooded, fails its panic test and runs away, which was just awesome. And then when I rolled, I couldn't roll high enough to catch the Saurus unit, and that was a real bummer. That was a real, real bummer. I was so hoping to get all those points off the table. So we go over here during my magic phase. I got the Curse of Honor here off on the Scarvet. You can see by the token. I have the +1 strength and toughness buff on my unit. It didn't help. He still killed the champion, but at least now, next combat phase when we're in combat with my battle standard bearer, at least then, I have a better chance of surviving. So we go to Lizardman turn 3. I think his Temple Guard just turned because I think he realized that my men-at-arms down here can't charge. There's really not a whole lot they're going to be able to do. I would have been able to charge him in the rear with my knights if I could charge something else with my men-at-arms, and so he said screw it and just reformed to face this mess up here. So I could charge him with those 2 units. Um, I just don't know if I see a point to it. He's got a lot of guys in the unit. He's stubborn. Yeah, stubborn rerollable because the Slan's also the BSB. His Kroxgor unit failed to rally, so that was really, really helpful. If they fail one more time, they might get off the board. His Saurus Warriors rally, and he parks a Skink Priest in front of my unit, so I can't charge him. Um, yeah, he's obviously more worried about my Knight Errant unit than I would be because charging into that Source unit, I really think he's going to win that. Even if my general gets lucky and I win a combat or two, he's going to win that War of Attrition. Let's see, over here, his Pterodons just fly up so that next turn he can do some stuff. And in the combat over here, I couldn't do a wound to him. He did 1 wound to my BSB, so I'm sitting on 1 wound. It's kind of scary. In hindsight, I'm really frustrated because I forgot that I gave my BSB the Sword of Might, and that's kind of helpful, that extra strength. But yeah, I don't know what I do. The problem is when I don't play a list prior to a tournament. Um, yeah. So anyway, there's that. But he did 1 wound to me. I have 2 banners, so I'm actually winning combat. But he's got high leadership with a reroll. So if I only win combat by 1, it's not going to really do a whole lot. The Curse of Honor here really helped out. He's -1 to hit, and that's great because he has 5 attacks. So we go to Bretonnia in turn 3. I reform my men-at-arms, so I have a choice of charging the Temple Guard or his Scarvet, and I don't really see me charging the Temple Guard anyway. I tried to get fancy up top. Basically, I reformed my men-at-arms, took the damsel out of there, reformed them so that the Temple Guard cannot charge through the gap between the men-at-arms and the impassable terrain. So if they charge the men-at-arms, my knights can come into the flank later and support him, or else he can not charge. So I felt that's the best I could do up there. I go ahead and take my general's unit into the Skink Priest, even though I really don't like my options after that combat's done. My Peg Knights decide to rally. I thought that was nice of them. And I don't know if this is before or after combat. I think this is after combat, and we just didn't do any wounds to each other. I win by 2, but he sticks. So we go to Lizardman. Oh, this is actually... I kill the Skink Priest and just go ahead and overrun because I'm not going to be able to avoid that charge. So his Pterodons decide to come in here and charge my Peg Knights. I think that's actually a really good plan. He could have dropped rocks, probably forced another break test, but I may not have broken. This way, he's got to charge a flank and, decent chance of breaking him. You notice this Croxagore still didn't rally, even with cold-blooded. It's I don't know what the odds of that are happening, failing 3 tests in a row. But now certainly if he fails again, he is off the board. His Temple Guard did not want to charge my men at arms and then get flank charged by my knights, so he just backed up. And overall, it looks like that. So after combat here, I was able to do, I think, 2 wounds on him. Regardless, when all was said and done, I don't think he did any wounds to me. I did 2 on him. I think it was a push. I think I actually won by 1 because of the musician. So I reformed to face him. I'm hopeful now the worst is over. I think my Peg Knights should have the advantage now. Yeah, we come in here. He kills one of mine. I kill, I think, 3 of his, 2 or 3 of his, and we carry on there. And this was actually kind of a nice surprise. He didn't do any wounds to me, thank goodness, and I was actually able to do a wound to him. So now, hey, we have hope maybe. And now it's my turn next, and I have a magic phase, so I might be able to buff my guy up. So go to Bretonnia turn 4. I bring the men at arms into the flank of the Scarvet, and I'm thinking, regardless of what happens between him and my battle standard bearer, if I might be able just to pop him through combat res. I do not take the I don't take my knights and my men at arms into his temple guard because there's just nothing to be gained there. Now I know it's only turn 4, but the time is running out, so we both know this is the last turn. So I go ahead and just move my damsel over here so she can support with the magic phase, and I don't have to worry about her getting charged later. So after combat, I got +1 strength and toughness, and I got the Savage Beast of Horus off. So my BSB absolutely whoops up, kills the Scarvet, and the top right, the Saurus kill a bunch of knights there at that time. We break from combat, but they can't catch me. So excuse me. So I save all the points for the knight errant unit, and I save my general, which was absolutely huge. On the far right, I think the pterodons and my knights and my peg knights stick around. Both of them stick around for that combat. So here's where the surprising thing was. It looked like he was dominating all game long, but when we added it up, one, he got very, very few points from me. Well, let me put it this way. He got 0 points for killing stuff because every unit that started the game is still there. I mean, my Knights Errant are down to 1 guy, but they're still on the table. My Peg Knights are still on the table. I mean, everything is still on the table. He got 25 points for a banner, and that's it. I didn't kill his biggest point sinks, but I did kill a lot of chaff, and I killed characters. So the Skink Priest, the Scarvet. I killed both units of Chameleon Skinks. I killed the Ancient Steg and the Salamanders. So, with all the chaff plus the extra 500 victory points because I never used more than 4 dice for a spell, it ended up being a 17-3 victory for me. So both of us were really surprised, not only that I won, but that I won so big. Just one of those weird, wonky games. The shame of it is, had it gone more rounds, he was in a good situation to start getting more points. I mean, I really wasn't equipped to do a whole lot to him at this point. I think, in his next turn, he would have charged the men at arms. I probably would have fled. I mean, who knows what would have happened, but it really, I think, worked to my benefit that it ended after turn 4. That being said, I really don't think I was slow playing. I don't think he was slow playing. It just kind of worked out that way. So anyway, that's 4 games of the tournament, and with this 17-3 victory, the next game I'll be on table 1, so I'll be at the winner's table for the last game of the tournament, and excited to be there. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed it.